Right now at noon, multiple area firefighters battle the flames coming out of a house in KOAM Junction.
Temperatures are on the rise today, but that won't last long. I'll have the details coming up.
And after 50 years and a quick series of blasts, folks say goodbye to the Asbury coal plant.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
KOAM Junction, Webb City, and Joplin Fire Department respond to a structure fire in KOAM Junction. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Amber Jenkins. About 5:30 this morning, reports of a structure fire in KOAM Junction at 110 Birch Street alerted E911. Officials say the flames were coming through the roof at the rear end of this large 3-bed and 3-bathroom home. KOAM Junction Fire, Police, and Mance Ambulance responded to the emergency. Joplin and Webb City Fire Department responded as mutual aid. Firefighters did not locate anyone inside the home. A hunt for a Newton County man has ended. Authorities had been looking for this man, Sean England, who was wanted for first-degree assault and felony for armed criminal action. On June 10th, court documents show England assaulted a victim with a baseball bat and wounded the individual as he fired a weapon. Authorities consider England armed and dangerous. Yesterday, Newton County Sheriff's Office announced that England has been taken into custody. No further information has been provided at this time. A Southeast Kansas woman entered a plea of no contest as part of a plea bargain to drop several other charges. Authorities say Alexis Metcalf stole from the attorney's office where she worked at in Fort Scott. She was originally charged with 2 counts of theft and of services and 16 counts of forgery dealing with checks in August of 2022. Metcalf entered the no contest plea for 1 count of theft. The state agreed to drop all other charges. Now it's Chloe with weather.
Thanks, Amber. Temperatures have skyrocketed as we headed into the mid-morning hours, and it is our last alert day. Temperatures expected to reach up into triple digits, 100 degrees for your high today, and the feel-like temperatures upwards of 105 to 110 degrees. So we're going to be very cautious of that today. Thankfully, we'll see a cool down, a slight cool down, not much, but we'll get out of that danger zone. Heat advisories across the board in effect until 7 p.m. tonight. This excludes our further western counties, but you still want to make sure that you're treating it as so, because those temperatures can be very, very toasty, and you know they're still going to be hot across the board. So keep that in mind. Dew points are also going to be rather high. Here's a look at 7th and Range Line. 93 degrees, but it feels like 101. So that feel like temperature is really what you want to make sure you're staying aware of. That dew point is in the 70s. Really, when it crosses that 70 risk or that 70 boundary, that's when those feel like temperatures can be upwards of 5 to even 10 degrees warmer than the actual temperature. We also have a southwest wind of 11, so it's still a little bit breezy, giving us a slight bit of relief. But you can still get heat exhaustion and the chance for heat stroke as well, so be cautious of that. Coming up in a bit, we're going to talk about the chance of relief this weekend. We'll have a rain chance this Saturday and Sunday, and then I'll also have your 4th of July forecast. That's all coming up here in a bit.
A quick series of blasts and a Southwest Missouri fixture for more than half a century comes to the ground as a crew employs the Asbury power plant. Thursday morning's implosion used almost 1,700 pieces of dynamite and other explosives. Authorities say the blast safely brought down 1 power plant, 1 air pollution control system building, and 2 original concrete and brick stacks in less than 20 seconds. During the summer, the area will be cleaned to prepare for future use.
You know, the Asbury plant will live on somewhere. It may live in hundreds of different places in the future.
It's not, again, something that you see every day, and it is a part of our history. It's how we generated electricity for a long time, and it's an old way of generating electricity and bringing in a different way.
Commissioned in 1970, the plant generated coal power energy. The plant was removed from service in March 2020. It was replaced in part by the North Fork Wind Farm, which is within sight northeast of the Asbury plant. The Carthage School District announced a $2.5 million donation to build a new baseball stadium. The district's old stadium was declared unsafe by the city's engineer in February. KD and ML Steadily Trust Bank of America is donating the money for the new stadium. The district will receive $500,000 installments over the next 5 years. The new stadium will be on the northeast corner of the high school campus. A construction schedule has not yet been finalized. A Joplin tech company gives people a glimpse into the future. On Thursday, an automatic technology company hosted a Smart City Symposium in Joplin. It featured industry experts from different companies discussing new tech innovations designed to improve the everyday lives of residents.
Create some dialogue and introduce some new concepts to the local economy and the local leaders, elected officials, city planners, mayors. We just invited all the regional city folks to come in and just say, hey, here's what's out there, here's what's possible.
The free symposium was held at the Joplin Family Worship Center. Another symposium, but this one's at Crowder College in Neosho, showcased student project. It's a part of an Upward Bound Summer Academy program. The projects were a part of 16 different classes, ranging from crime scene investigation to agriculture to graphic design. Officials say the academy gives high school students valuable skills.
History isn't always what we think it is. Sometimes it could just be up to a person to think about what they can think really whatever they want. We learned that the main difference is the past is what actually happened. History is what we interpret it based on the evidence we have available to us.
Upward Bound officials say they served 300 students from 37 high schools in Southwest Missouri. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Up next on the KOAM Morning News, well, at noon, it's not morning anymore, but the Joplin Humane Society receives a donation that had many tails wagging. And a little later, we're going to be making backyard baked beans in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. According to a recent study by the CDC, more than 1 in 5 LGBTQ youth attempted suicide in the past year. It's a national stat that hits close to home. Luke Nugent was a teen from Carl Junction. Those closest to Luke says he was bullied because of his sexuality. It's been 10 years since Luke took his own life, but his friends and family still feel his impact. Seeing Luke's influence after all these years makes his mom proud.
It gives me hope that love like Luke gave is really a lasting impact on people that they carry for the rest of their lives, even if he's not in their life anymore, you know, and it will forever inspire them to spread that kind of love too.
I feel like it's more accepted now to be a part of the LGBTQ community like he was, but I feel like everyone's not accepting it, so there's still some outside voices.
Luke's mom promotes the importance of calling the 988 suicide hotline when times are hard. The Joplin Public Library hosts an art exhibit themed around eating disorders and body image. It's called Reflections of Hunger. There are about 30 pieces, all which showcase the lived experiences of local residents dealing with eating disorders and body image issues. Organizers hope this exhibit will help fight the stigma around these issues.
Sure. Eating disorders are the second deadliest mental illness out of all mental illnesses. And it's where people start to really struggle to have a healthy relationship with food, but also their bodies as well. And I think that's something that all of us can relate to in the culture that we have. And I think that's what our exhibit is about, so that everybody can see themselves in it and understand it.
The free exhibit will be open through the end of July. Its Pittsburgh Child Welfare Agency is celebrating Family Unification Month. On Thursday, TFI hosted a pinwheel planting ceremony. The pinwheels are yellow in honor of Family Reunification Month, which recognizes the efforts to help families stay together in the foster care systems.
All the time is to try to bring those children and their parents back together. So when we have an opportunity to celebrate the instances where that happens, we want to take advantage of that, and so that's why we do this event every year.
TFI officials say they helped reunite 300 families last year. Employees from a Joplin business donated more than 1,000 pounds of pet food and cleaning supplies to the Joplin Humane Society. Alorica employees collected and paid for the supplies. Officials say this donation will go a long way for the shelter.
It's just things that we can use every day, things like dog food, cleaning supplies, and these are just going to be a tremendous benefit to the animals and the people that are here at the shelter.
So some of the donations came from our employees where they just donated their money and we went out and purchased the supplies. And then a lot of our employees just brought in dog food, cleaning supplies, things like that, and just dropped them off at the site.
The donation was made through Alorica's nonprofit, Making Lives Better with Alorica. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
You know what you're grilling, but do you have all the go-alongs you need for your 4th of July bash? If not, we have an easy one that always gets rave reviews. Rave reviews.
We've also got a cooling trend next week for your 4th of July forecast. I'll have the details coming up next. Well, it's our last alert day of the week. Thankfully, we'll be on a bit of a cooling trend, and when I mean cool, I don't mean a whole lot cooler, but definitely a little more relief from what we have seen the past couple of days. Here's a look at our forecasted high. It's the last day of the triple-digit weather, but our forecasted high, 100 degrees. Those heat index values will make us feel upwards of 105 to 110 degrees. Here's a look at our heat advisories across the board. This is in effect until 7 p.m. tonight. So hopefully this will be the last we'll see of those heat advisories as we get a little bit of a cooling trend, maybe a good 10 degrees cooler heading into tomorrow. Here's a look at our 7th and range line, 93 degrees, feels like 101 degrees outside. That's due to the dew point that we have. Current temperatures right now in the 90s across the board. Lamar 92, Nevada 91, Anderson 90 degrees, Pittsburgh 92 as well. Chanute, you're hanging around at 94 degrees. Those feel like temperatures, like I said, those dew points are above 70 degrees, usually above 65 to 70 degrees. That's when you're gonna get those feel like temperatures, a good 5 to 10 degrees warmer than the actual temperature. So Webb City, you're really feeling like 101. Same for Stockton, Cassville as well. Anderson feels like 104. Grove, feel like 105 degrees. You know, I really like my hot tub at 104, but I don't like my air temperatures at 104. So thankfully we'll see a little bit of a cooling trend heading into tonight and into tomorrow. Our low tonight will be 77, but even at 10 p.m. we'll still be in the mid to upper 80s, 86 by 10 p.m. Heading into tomorrow morning, we'll see a little bit of a chance for some isolated showers. We'll have a strong southwesterly wind, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s as you're waking up. And then that'll clear out pretty quickly. So it's not a whole lot of rain. You might wake up to a little bit of some sprinkles here and there on Saturday and even maybe Sunday, early Sunday morning, leaving us with a clearing trend afterwards. But we'll still see cooler temperatures, upper 80s, lower 90s. So not cool by any means, but cooler, I guess we should say. And then Monday morning, we'll see those temperatures even in the 60s, upper 60s as you wake up in the morning. So a lot nicer than what we have been seeing. Still pretty warm though. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we've got a chance for precipitation Saturday, Sunday, but highs, in the lower 90s. Now for your 4th of July forecast, we'll have some isolated showers here and there. Nothing to cancel your plans over, but definitely keep that in mind as you're outdoors and have that plan B just in case you get rained on for a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely have a backup plan. You know, back in March, February time, I was like, I can't wait for, hot days. I can't wait for summer. And now summer's here and I'm like, oh.
Now we want those temperatures.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to go a little down, I know I can't be, satisfied, but.
Exactly, we're all there in the same boat.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, stick around and we'll be making backyard beans in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen after the break. Now that summer is in full swing and many cookouts are on the horizon, Howard got the perfect dish for backyard fun. We're making backyard baked beans in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When it comes to summertime get-togethers, there are a few things that are absolute must-haves. For some, it might be Dad's barbecue chicken, while for others, it may be Aunt Mary's Tutti Frutti ambrosia. However, for me, it has to be my mom's bubbling hot baked beans. And if you got a minute, I'll show you how they're made. We start with a couple of cans of baked beans. To that, we add in some molasses, crumbled bacon, yellow mustard, a bit of butter, and a can of crispy fried onions. After that's mixed, we pour it into a baking dish and top it with even more French fried onions before popping it in the oven. Then we let it bake until all the flavors come together and it's bubbling hot. As you can see, the whole thing takes no time to whip up, thanks to all the supermarket shortcuts. These taste amazing and no one will ever know you didn't make them from scratch. To get your hands on this fun change of pace holiday must-have, which we call Backyard Bean Bake, all you have to do is go to our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a bubbling delicious way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe with a lot of more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
Well, it's our last alert day of the week. Our high expected to reach 100 degrees. So make sure you're staying hydrated as you head into the rest of the day. But we'll see temperatures dip down into the lower 90s with a cool down on the way. We've got some chances for rain Saturday and Sunday. We even have a chance for rain on the 4th of July, but it's not significant. Nothing enough to cancel your plans, but will cool us down a hair into the upper 80s by the time we head into next week. So, I mean, Amber, I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to those temperatures in the 80s. I'm so ready for those temperatures.
Yes, I'm tired of seeing 100. I'm tired of seeing 98, 95. We want to get down to like maybe the mid 80s.
Yes.
Low 80s. Maybe
Oh,
some
yeah.
70s, but we'll see.
That would be really nice. Right now, the 70s are for our lows, but I was talking to Sam and Doug about it at one point. I wish our lows were our highs. You know?
That would be nice.
That would be ideal.
You know, when I left for work this morning, the first thing I thought about when I walked outside, it was just, wow, it's warm. And like I'm leaving my house at like 3 a.m. So I'm used to being like, you know, a little chill, a little brisk, you know. But the first thing I thought was like, feels like it's the afternoon, even though it's like, you know, pitch black and stuff. So
Exactly. It was so toasty.
it was, but you know, I'm not complaining too much. We'll see. We'll hang in there. But coming up 4 to 5, coming up at 5 tonight, cataracts are leading calls for blindness worldwide. Doctors are now able to custom design the artificial lens and to suit the patient's vision needs, whether it's for their job or their hobbies. Meet an antique dealer who says the surgery was life-changing. Plus, Carthage School's superintendent gives details on the multi-million-dollar pledge to rebuild a baseball stadium. And big booms, snaps, and crackles sounds will fill the air this weekend leading up to the 4th of July. But not everyone is a fan of loud noises. We'll give you some tips to keep your pets calm and safe. Join us for those stories and more at KOM tonight at 5. You know, I have a little chihuahua.